Now we'll move on to the programs portion of the presentation. And starting off will be Melinda Voss, Ohio River Foundation Education Programs Manager. Melinda?
Thanks, Rich. Hello, everyone. So glad to be here. I have approached my first full year with Ohio River Foundation. So we have a lot of really things to share, really exciting things to share about the last year, 2023, and even bigger and greater things to come in 2024. But as far as our education programs, I'll just briefly speak to kind of what motivates us and drives us as kind of our philosophy in our education programs. And then I'll share very briefly about our big programs and what we do day to day as part of Ohio River Foundation. So in general, we really strive to connect kids with nature and have a positive experience in nature. You can't protect what you don't love. So what is very core to what we offer is providing those positive and immersive experiences in nature that many of these kids probably wouldn't have the opportunity to do outside of our programs. So that's very important to us. We hope that is an outcome, but there is also obviously new knowledge gained, especially in the field of science. So we want to greatly improve science literacy amongst our community. We reach through our programs K through 12 students and teachers. So we're really focused on that formal education audience and how we can improve and bulk up their science literacy. And then, of course, we hope from what comes from all of that is the motivation and inspiration to take action and do something to protect and conserve our watersheds. So we try to give very clear and specific examples of ways that our program participants can do that and hope they're motivated to do that as an outcome. So you can do the next slide. Thank you, Bethany. So our premier program and our oldest program in the lineup is River Explorer. So this program has been ongoing for over 15 years now, and it is incredibly special. It, in fact, sells out nearly every season, and that is because it is so special. This program, as you can see illustrated in the photo here, puts kids directly into our local waterways. So we're physically wading into the streams and creeks around here, which is an incredible—
I'm on a Zoom meeting right now.
Incredible opportunity for kids to connect with nature. So they're having a multi-sensory experience, that's for sure. But then also we are leading them through some pretty rigorous modules and engaging them in science techniques that real field biologists use in order to assess water quality. So they're doing hands-on science. We're engaging them in STEM activities throughout the program. They're learning a lot. They're also having an incredible time. So River Explorer is a very special program that we offer throughout the greater Cincinnati area. You can do the next slide, Bethany, thank you. So as far as what that looks like and the numbers, the qualitative side of River Explorer, we serve a large number of students every year, and that number will continue to grow. We certainly grew from 2023 to 2022. So we serve 2,600 students from across 34 total schools in our region. And what's really exciting, in addition to them having a really fun experience in the local waterways, they also gain some new knowledge, and we're able to track that through pre and post quizzes that we deliver to all of the students who participate in River Explorer. And on average, we see 46% improvement in their knowledge of the watershed. So we know they're having an incredible time that's making memories that will last forever, but we also know that we are having an impact on that science literacy goal we have to improve upon. Next slide, thank you, Bethany. So here's just some more photos to illustrate what that program looks like. Lots of smiles, but it obviously is incredibly hands-on. Kids fish with seine nets. They're getting their hands on specimens from the local waterways. We're identifying those and using that information to essentially do a bioassessment with the students so that they can determine the health of the waterway based on the living organisms in there. We also do chemical analysis and water cycle activities with the younger students. So it's incredibly hands-on and just a ton of fun. River Explorer is great. So the other program that we're very proud of, that again we offer, this is for K through 12 students, is Mussels in the Classroom. So this started in 2017, and it at that time was first in the nation. And since then we've seen in some ways other organizations throughout the country replicating it. It is an amazing program that brings live freshwater mussels to classrooms across the greater Cincinnati region, but also we travel across the Ohio River Valley in order to bring this program and educate about the Ohio River watershed. We travel as far as Lexington and Columbus. In fact, 2 of our employees are in or coming back from Columbus and Lexington for Mussels in the Classroom programs today. So this program will take a tank full of mussels to a class. We'll present on freshwater mussels, which are an incredible species. I could spend a lot of time talking about that right now, but I won't. They're awesome bioindicators. They're also very threatened, and we live in a very unique and biologically rich area of the world here in the Ohio River Valley when it comes to freshwater mussels. So more people should know them and appreciate them, and that's our goal in the program and why we bring these mussels to local classrooms and set up a tank. We deliver information to them, leave them with the activities, and then it's up to the teachers and students to take care of them for 2 weeks. So they really get a chance to observe behavior and dive in deep, learn about mussels in a lot of detail. So it provides a program that's very science rich, but it also makes it incredibly easy for teachers. They don't have to rent a bus in order to go on a field trip, right? We bring it to them. We set up the tank. It's incredibly affordable, incredibly accessible. And because they have 2 weeks to enjoy the program, they can follow the pace of their classroom and students as they explore the topic. So when we look at the numbers, we served over 2,400 students in the past year, across 22 schools. And we saw a 50% average improvement in watershed knowledge when we tested pre and post program. So that's, again, a great example of how we are improving science literacy as a result of our programs. You can do the next slide, thanks. And here's some pictures of kids enjoying mussels in the classroom in their location. You can see the images of the tanks there. That's what's set up in schools. You can do the next slide, thanks, Bethany. So the other big program we wanted to talk about today, and we're very proud of, is we also offered this past summer in the month of June, a course for high school students, a very intensive course called Student Conservation Leadership. And we led 13 total students through a week of exploration of our local watershed, what watershed conservation ecology looks like, and we did a lot of career exploration. And we took these students all over the greater Cincinnati area and exposed them to all kinds of great work that's going on, the work at Ohio River Foundation and other local organizations working on watershed conservation. And it had a great impact. We got to know these kids really well, and they us. In fact, Kat, the gal on the lower picture there, I just ran into her last week at a conservation career fair. So the experience definitely had an impact on her future choices and what she's going to explore as far as careers. And we continue to hear from them, and the things that they're interested in have definitely been impacted by the week they spent with us. So we're really proud of that one. You can do the next slide, Bethany. As I said, 13 students participated in a week-long course. We did all kinds of things: bioassessment, chemical analysis, invasive plant species removal. We took them electrofishing on the Ohio River. We tagged freshwater mussels. All kinds of great activities were a part of that course, summer course. Thanks, Bethany. All right, so next, that's a quick overview of what we did in 2023. You'll hear more about 2024 stuff coming up for education. But next, I'll introduce Jessica Rice, our restoration manager, and I'll let her take it from there.
Hi all, thank you Melinda for the introduction. Jessica Rice, Restoration Program Manager, happy to be here. Next slide, Bethany. So between Ohio River Foundation's invasive species removal work, our barrier removal work, and our native tree plantings, our environmental restoration team has been very busy. Next slide, please. Our 2023 project work in numbers is the result of an amazing and hardworking restoration crew. I love when I get to brag about ORF staff, but also some very hardy volunteers. So in total, we've removed invasive species from over 44 acres of pollinator prairie and native woodland across greater Cincinnati. And the area that we cover per year has been consistently climbing, and we've seen tremendous native regrowth on all of these restoration sites that we work. So basically, it's widely known that invasive species can have devastating impacts on ecosystems, including outcompeting native species, altering habitats, and disrupting ecological processes. And by basically removing these invasive species, we help restore that biodiversity, protect those natives, and promote ecosystem resilience. Now, in addition to removing the plants, we've done our fair share of planting as well. Ohio River Foundation crew has planted 15,457 native trees in 2023. The only way that you can, one at a time. But anyway, we've also conducted 10 community and corporate volunteer events, logging nearly 300 hours of volunteer participation. Next slide, please. We have here some photos of a few of our restoration sites. These different sites have very different ecosystems, but our goal remains the same: remove the invasives so that the natives can thrive, while also including community in that process. So Kingswood Park and Alms Park listed there are more native woodland focused, but Summit Park and Blue Ash Golf Course, as you can tell by all of the beautiful colors, focus on pollinator prairie maintenance and management. Next slide, please. Continuing our highlights here, Twin Creek. So thanks to a gracious grant from Cargill and the Global Water Challenge program, we planted over 15,000 live stakes along 6 miles of Twin Creek. These live stakes, basically trees, are dormant tree cuttings that are gently pushed into the side of an eroding stream bank, where they soon grow shoots, but most importantly, roots that hold on to that stream bank and keep it from eroding. These trees also provide habitat for species in and out of the water, as well as water filtration and air filtration. We're very, very much looking forward to next month and again in 2025, when we'll complete phase 2 and phase 3 of this multi-year project. So special thanks to our partners on this undertaking: Five Rivers Metro Parks, Rivers Unlimited, the Village of Lewisburg, just to name a few. And then our wonderful volunteers from Tri-County North High School's FFA program. I think it was about 22 degrees the day that we met up with them and put in 1,000 live stakes right outside their school. So it's a group effort for sure. Next slide, please. Lastly, for those who don't know, Ohio River Foundation is one of the many organizations in the area that are involved with our local SISMA, called the Ohio River Valley SISMA. So SISMA stands for Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area. And we provide a collaborative list of local invasive species volunteer opportunities across Greater Cincinnati. This is all on our website, as well as resources and free educational webinars. So this year we covered in our webinars the not so lovely tree of heaven and spotted lanternfly, and we'll be producing more of those this year, so stay tuned. And I think with that, I will hand it off to Executive Director Rich Kogan.
Thanks, Jess. I'm excited, very excited to announce that our next barrier removal project is now in the implementation phase. In Pendleton County, Kentucky, this road removal project, and that's Hog Ridge Road Dam labeled above, which is also termed a low water crossing, has been in the works for a few years, and we now have begun deconstruction of this, what is a hairpin turn that occasionally is susceptible to flooding and icing. But now the road's tubes will be removed along with the roadway and replaced with a bridge, similar to the bridge that you see in the image below, Beaver Creek Dam removal, which is a similar project that we undertook with, in that case, Harrison County. The Hog Ridge Road is with Pendleton County. And what it is going to do by also installing the bridge, it will improve safety as far as travel is concerned, but it also will allow normal flow of the creek and it will no longer impede fish transit. This is the third such road bridge project that the foundation has undertaken. And once completed, water quality will improve and aquatic species will move unimpeded in the creek. And as I said earlier, the road traveler will be safer. Our advocacy work in 2020 was very, very busy, as it normally is. We continue to be a voice for protecting and restoring the Ohio River and all waters in its watershed, along with other local, regional, and national environmental organizations. ORF signed onto several letters and petitions to congressional committees and the US EPA pertaining to water quality issues, including more stringent regulation of forever chemicals, referred to as PFOA, PFAS, and other chemicals. We also signed on to letters that objected to US Army Corps of Engineers project construction funding, and also commented on clarifying the definition of waters of the US. Then, last summer, as some of you know, a bombshell decision from the US Supreme Court in Sackett versus EPA that dramatically narrowed the scope of the Clean Water Act and undone protections that have safeguarded our waters for more than 50 years. Along with our partner organizations around the country, we are looking at what types of actions we can undergo to support EPA in its attempt to shore up wetland protections nationwide in the face of this particular US Supreme Court ruling. The court's decision will exclude tens of millions of acres of wetlands from the Clean Water Act's oversight. At least half the nation's wetlands now have no federal protection. The ruling places in jeopardy millions of acres of wetlands, including the wetlands our communities depend on for flood mitigation, wildlife protection, recreation, and tourism, as well as water filtration and clean drinking water. Wetlands are among the most productive biodiverse systems in the world, comparable to rainforests and coral reefs. They're often referred to as nature's kidneys because of their ability to filter water. In the Ohio River watershed, we've already seen dramatic wetland degradation and loss, even before this particular court ruling. In many states in the watershed, like Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia, 80 to 90% of wetlands have already been lost. We will fight this weakening of the Clean Water Act because we just can't afford to lose any more wetlands. So in 2024, Ohio River Foundation will continue to fight back against the demands of polluters who seek to block the EPA from protecting the health of our communities. And we will advocate along with our regional partners to protect these integral ecosystems. Furthermore, the development of a comprehensive Ohio River watershed ecosystem restoration program with enforceable goals continues to be a focus of the foundation and our partners. A draft plan may possibly be released sometime in 2024. Lastly, as mentioned earlier, we will continue to work with our local, regional, and national partners to fight a threatened petrochemical buildout along the Ohio River, hold producers of PFAS and forever chemicals and other harmful chemicals and microplastics accountable, and push for regulations that safeguard our environment and water. The creation of a strong watershed advocacy coalition to support this work will also be a top 2024 priority for Ohio River Foundation. Now as to the finances and operations for 2023. I want to congratulate the entire Ohio River Foundation team for delivering an outstanding performance in 2023, such that their actions were rewarded by increased donations, contributions, grants to the organization that increased our top line by more than 50% to almost $775,000. Their efficient work also resulted in an increase in our bottom line, despite an increase in expenses. In 2023, what's even more impressive, go back please, is that no funding source other than our festivals, which contributed about 15% of revenue, contributed more than 10% of revenue. Let me underscore that. Many organizations count on increases in their revenue from major grants, hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is not to say that the foundation will not experience that type of grant receipts in the future. But the fact that no funding source contributed more than 10% of revenue is significant when looked at in view of a 50% increase in overall revenue. Contract and grant revenue continued to grow, and we added new funders to the organization, such as Cargill, Carol Ann and Ralph V. Hale Jr. Foundation, and the HBEW and F.R. Luther Charitable Foundation Fifth Third Bank trustee. As you can see from this slide, we have a large group of funders, some of whom are set to increase funding for this calendar year, 2024. And we plan to also be expanding this list with more companies and private foundations. Of note, these funders do not include our list of event sponsors for the film festival, the coffee festival, and other events, who donated approximately $30,000 to Ohio River Foundation last year. Now we'll move on to our next slide, which is details about our successful events from 2023. And Sarah, are you going to lead off, or is Bethany?
I'm going to lead off.
Okay.
So hello again, everyone. I'm Bethany Miller, the Development and Communications Manager for ORF. Just wanted to take you through a couple of our fundraising events from this past year. This past October, we had our 6th annual Cincinnati Coffee Festival. Maybe some of you have been able to attend or have friends and family who have attended over the years, but this event continues to be very exciting, and we're growing every year, along with having world-class coffee roasters. Some of our other vendors at the festival were tea shops, bakers, chocolatiers, artisans, and crafters, and a lot more. Our attendees enjoyed samples of coffee, tea, and all of those great baked goods over the course of the festival. We had live music, our annual latte art throwdown, where we had local news anchor Luke Jones, and then New York Times bestselling author Kim Harrison, who coincidentally has written books that feature the Cincinnati area heavily, one of which actually had a small little scene in the coffee festival. So we were very happy to be able to include her as a judge. And some of the stats for this year, we raised over $100,000 at the event for our programs. 50 vendors. We had a little over 4,000 attendees at the festival. And something we're very excited about, we were able to compost 2,538 pounds of trash. We take that very seriously at the festival. We recycle what we can and make sure we're composting everything so we can make sure coffee grounds and all of those other things aren't going into a landfill. So that's kind of a snapshot of last year's festival. We included just a few pictures on the slide. You can kind of see there in the bottom right, the overall scale of the festival at Music Hall. We're very lucky to be able to call that our coffee festival home. It's a great venue. We had some great musicians this year, great vendors who were connecting with greater Cincinnati area attendees and beyond. And then it gave us an opportunity to connect with a new audience and help people learn a little bit more about what we do as an organization. So I'm going to go ahead and hand things over now to Sarah Brantz, our donor relations and volunteer manager. She's going to talk a little bit about the Wild and Scenic Film Festival.
Thanks, Bethany. Hello, everybody. I'm Sarah Brantz, the Donor Relations and Volunteer Manager. I also am the Film Festival Manager as well. Last year in 2023 was our 5th annual Wild and Scenic Film Festival. It's one of our biggest fundraisers aside from the Coffee Festival. For some of you may not be familiar with the film festival, it is one of the largest environmental film festivals in North America. The goal of the film festival is to inspire environmental activism and a love for nature through film. Last year, we were able to raise more than $17,000 for the organization. We showed 11 short films. And we had a sold out in-person attendance. So approximately over 130 people came to the Woodward Theater. And then we also had about 50 people tune in virtually last year. We're excited to bring back the film festival this year. It will be on April 19th, again at the Woodward Theater. It'll be our 6th annual film festival. One important note about this year is that we will not be offering a virtual ticket. So we will just be having the in-person event, and we do expect to sell out again. Tickets are already on sale. If you go to our website, you can purchase your tickets. We have an early bird special going on right now. So if you purchase before the end of March, you can get that early bird special. Then I think next slide, Bethany. Okay, so just to speak briefly on some upcoming 2024 plans. The first thing I want to talk about is our corporate volunteering opportunities. So next slide, Bethany. So we're really excited to announce that we've received funding to expand on our restoration volunteer efforts. So in addition to our regular weekend community restoration events, we're actively reaching out to corporate groups and businesses to see if they're interested in planning a volunteer restoration event specifically for their team. So these events will take place during the week. They will last usually between 2 to 3 hours, and they will focus around invasive species removal. We will work together to find a good month, day, time frame for you and your group. We've seen a big increase in interest from corporate groups around Greater Cincinnati to schedule these types of events for their teams. These events are really great team building opportunities. They're a fun way to get outside and give back in your community. Some of our partners last year, just to name a few, were Mad Tree Brewing, Accenture, Protivity, Seiko, and Richter and Phillips. And if you're interested in this type of event for your group or company, feel free to reach out to me and we can work together to get you on the calendar and schedule something for you and your team. Aside from the corporate volunteer expansion, we are bringing back our community volunteer days. So as you can see, we have some already up on the calendar. The first one we have is on April 7th at Summit Park from 9 to 12. Anyone is welcome to attend these events. They're very family friendly. We will provide tools and everything that you need. All we do is we ask for you to register ahead of time, and we have moved to electronic waivers. So all of these dates and as well as the waivers can be found on our website. These will all be weekend events, and they will be at one of our sites that we work at. So right now that would either be Summit Park, Kingswood Park, and then Alms Park. And we will be adding a few more community volunteer days, most likely at Alms Park. So just keep a lookout for those dates. We should be adding those within the next couple of weeks. And then I'm going to hand it over to Jessica to talk about some of our exciting restoration projects that she's working on.
Thank you. Bethany, next slide, please. And very quickly here, I know I was given 1 minute, I think, but the restoration work for 2024, next week, actually, we kick off our planting season with a scheduled 6,500 live stakes. Those will go in at the Whitewater, along the Whitewater River, and cover approximately 3 miles of stream bank. Everyone, please pray for low water levels. We'll appreciate it. Additionally, we will be planting another 6,000 bare root saplings and nuts along Twin Creek. We're calling this project Twin Creek Phase 2. It's an effort to reduce erosion and create habitat and additional food sources along Twin Creek in Germantown, Ohio, and Lewisburg, Ohio. Lastly, Greasy Creek, the road/bridge project is also scheduled to begin in an effort to reconnect that stream, allowing it to flow naturally. And off to Melinda.
Thanks, Jess. As mentioned, there are a lot of things going on in education that for 2024 that will make for a very busy year, a busier year than 2023. You can go to the next slide if you don't mind, Bethany. So kind of in order of sequence, we have a sign-up deadline for our summer course collaboration. So as we've offered in the past, a summer course for high school students, this summer we are partnering with some awesome local organizations in order to offer an even bigger and better course for high school students. The course is in June, so June 24th through the 28th. But the sign up or registration deadline for high school students is coming up quickly on March 15th. So this is very much like our student conservation leaders course that we've offered in the past, but greatly expanded with the participation of Thomas More University Biology Field Station, Sanitation District 1, and 4, the or Sanko's education wing. So we're all working together to offer an even bigger and better course for high school students, and there are scholarships available. So if you know of any high school students who'd like to really explore what watershed ecology and conservation looks like, and big this year will be careers in science, please encourage them to check out this course. It's very affordable, and hopefully we will fill up all of the spots available for that. The next event after that, we will be celebrating World Water Day. We're going to offer a virtual event for schools, and that is on Friday, March 22nd. And we're really focusing again on serving that high school audience. There's a lot of need for STEM and science education available for high school students, and specifically in the field of watershed conservation and aquatic biology. We have a lot to offer. So we're going to focus on science careers during that event with those students. So if you know, again, of any high school students or teachers who might be interested in joining us, it's again, a virtual event online in celebration of World Water Day and what that means to live in such an important and impactful watershed and what we can do to better conserve it. And then, of course, ongoing, we have our River Explorer field trip season coming up starting in the second week of April, and we have nearly every date filled. We are accepting applications for River Explorer field trips for the 2024-25 school year. So if you know of any teachers who are interested, now's a great time to start planning for next school year. Although it seems early, it's not too early to begin to prep for that. And then, of course, with Muscles in the Classroom, that we continue to offer that program throughout the entire school year, whether it's winter, spring, or fall. And just as an example, we're growing tremendously in that area. In this month of March, we have 9 programs scheduled, and last March we had 3. So there's exponential growth happening for Muscles in the Classroom, and that's much deserved because it is such a great program that is so accessible and affordable to teachers. That kind of wraps up some of the big things we're planning and expecting for the 2024 year in education. I think we'll go over to Bethany.
Thanks, Melinda. Real quick, I just wanted to talk through some of our major fundraising events. We're already gearing up for those events in 2024. As Sarah mentioned, that our Wild and Scenic Film Festival is happening April 19th at the Woodward Theater. Tickets have just gone on sale, so visit our website to check out more information and purchase tickets. Sponsorships are still open for that event as well. So feel free to reach out and contact us if you'd like to learn more about what sponsoring that event might look like, or if you know of anybody who might be interested in getting some exposure through a sponsorship, please send them our way. The Cincinnati Coffee Festival, the date for that is October 26th through 27th. Again, it will be at Cincinnati Music Hall. We're very excited to be back at Music Hall again. We'll be announcing more details throughout the year for the Coffee Festival, but go ahead and mark your calendars and save the date for October. We do have our poster contest in progress right now. So submissions are due March 15th. So if you like to design or do any sort of artwork at all as a hobby, we'd love to have you submit for our poster contest, or if you know anyone who would be interested in that, go ahead and look at our Cincinnati Coffee Festival website to learn more about how you could submit a design for our poster. And to finalize that for Cincinnati Coffee Festival throughout the year, of course, we will be looking for sponsors, and sponsorship for the Coffee Festival is also officially open. So if you know anybody, or if your company would be interested in gaining some exposure through sponsorship, we'd love to have you. It's a great opportunity to reach a new audience and also just connect with your green initiatives. So to round things out here, we want to go ahead and say thank you again for spending this hour with us. We really appreciate you taking some time out to learn about what we've been working on for the past year and get a little bit of a glimpse into what we're working on for this year. If you'd like to connect with us, you can do so through our website, email. You can also go on our website and sign up for our email blasts. We send out a lot of information throughout the year. And you can also connect with us on social. And I see Rich has his hand up right now.
Thanks, Bethany. Yeah, so in closing, which, by the way, I want to shoehorn something in. Jessica sent me a message to remind people that we do have some significant work and developments coming down the pipeline right now. Restoration, in addition to what she talked about. We have actually our next Lowhead Dam removal happening this year. It'll be happening in the second half of 2024 over in the greater Louisville area on Long Lick Run. So very excited about that partnership with Beam Suntory, same people that make Jim Beam bourbon. So we're very excited about that. So continue to follow developments on our website and social media to see how that project is progressing. And additionally, we also are stepping up with not just these small projects, relatively footprint-wise small, we have reasonable impacts, but we're also looking to expand into landscape scale restoration projects. And so we are speaking with a number of partners to submit proposals for major funding for 2025 and 2026. So it's going to be a very exciting year for us, and we look forward to sharing the news with you. And again, thank you for joining us for the 2024 Ohio River Foundation annual meeting. Bethany, I'll turn it back to you for closeout.
Thanks, Rich. So again, if you're interested in more information, learning more about our programs, how you can get involved, or you'd like to volunteer or sponsor, feel free to connect with us at any of the opportunities listed here on this slide through our website, email, social media, etc. I think we've got just a few minutes left here. So we wanted to give people an opportunity to ask questions or make any comments. So with that, I'll go ahead and open the floor to questions. You can ask them in chat or take yourself off mute, put your hand up, whatever you want to do. We'd love to hear from you.